Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The date is February 16, 2021. I call to order a meeting of the Havre Grace Mayor and City Council. The time is now 7 o'clock p.m. Council President Glenn.
Here.
Councilmember Robertson.
Here.
Councilmember Zinner.
Here.
Councilmember Boyer.
Here.
Councilmember Ringsager.
Here.
Councilmember Martin.
Here.
Thank you very much. All council members are present and accounted for. We're going to go on to item number 3, the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the opening prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If I could kindly ask everybody to remain standing as we go to our opening prayer, read by the council president. This prayer has been submitted by our good pastor Norman Obenshane of Havre Grace United Methodist Church. Thank you, council president, for reading the prayer.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Before I move to the prayer, Pastor Norman, as the treasurer of the Susquehanna Ministerium, asked me to thank the mayor and council for their support of the Grace Place Food Ministry. With that said, let us pray. God of love, we have just come through a weekend celebrating human love and some famous presidents, leaders of our nation. Grant that our work here this evening as city leaders may be well done. Help us to make decisions and to take actions that sustain or increase the quality of life of our residents. For this would be please you who calls us to love one another and to care for each other. In these winter weeks, grant that our city may increase its quotient of compassion, especially towards those who are at least the left out and the left behind among us, those who are hungry, poor, homeless, unemployed, underemployed, sick, lonely, isolated, or fearful. As our community and our nation continue to wrestle with the pandemic, heal our nation and its people. Help us to work together to end this scourge. Comfort those who are grieving the loss of loved ones and strengthen all who are in recovery. Thank you, God of love, for those who are working tirelessly and selflessly to protect, to heal, to care for us, often at risk to themselves and their health. Police, researchers, nurses, doctors, and caregivers. Thank you for those working to maintain mental health and connection under great strain. Teachers, counselors, and social workers. Thank you for the volunteers who are working to help others in conditions never encountered before. Thank you for neighbors helping each other in the spirit of your divine, compassionate love. Mindful of those leaders of our nation, state, county, and city who have gone before us, thank you for their good work, their positive example, their legacy of dedication, and the foundation which they have laid for our success. Mindful that we are blessed to be a diverse nation and community. Thank you for those who have fought on battlefields, engaged in civil disobedience, labored in the courtrooms, and used the power of the media to extend the reach of freedom to folk who formerly did not know it or were even enslaved. Help us build well on their foundation that we may extend the gift of freedom and competent self-rule to future generations. Help us to honor their memory and service by uniting together to extend the good work into the future. In this session of City Council, give us all the wisdom, patience, eloquence, and civility we need that we may care for the business and the people of our city to honor your holy name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, council president. Thank you for reading that into the record.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, before we move forward, I have a couple friendly amendments to the agenda.
Yes, sir.
Moving down to number 7, appointments. The appointments for Austin and Mattson will not be entertained this evening. They're elected to pursue other endeavors. So they would be taken off the agenda tonight for reappointments.
Okay, thank you very much, Council President. Duly noted. Any other changes, or are we good?
That's it.
Okay, thank you. All right, Council, we're going to go to item number 5, approval of the minutes. City Council meeting minutes of February 1st, 2021. Do I have a motion to approve those minutes?
Second.
I have a motion by Councilmember Zinner, second by Councilmember Robertson. Questions or comments on the minutes? Councilor Ringsager?
I'm sorry, I was looking at my glasses.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry. Chris Mudge, apologize.
Good timing. All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. City Council meeting minutes of February 1st, 2021 carry 6-0 in the affirmative. Item number 6, comments from citizens on agenda items. This is the part of the meeting agenda where citizens can submit comments of any item that is on the agenda. Comments that are reserved for other city business not on the agenda are read or heard at the end of the meeting. So item number 6 is on agenda items. Chief of Staff, have we received any comments over the last 2 weeks up to 7 o'clock this evening?
Yes, Mayor, we have. We have 4 separate comments this evening.
Okay.
The first is from Kathy Keene in reference to the zoning code 205-9. My comments on the ordinance to amend city zoning code 205-9 to establish maximum setbacks in the National Register Historic District and to prohibit front-load garages on certain streets. I am writing in support of this ordinance. We are fortunate to have beautiful tree-lined streets with vintage homes sitting uniformly in a row. Historically, houses are set a consistent distance from the sidewalk in a pattern that is pleasing to the eye. A house from new infill construction that is set farther back from neighboring houses would jarringly disrupt the flow of the streetscape. Front-loaded garages also disrupt the continuity of the block because their height, mass, and large garage doors are so inconsistent with the homes next to them. Thank you for considering this legislation to help maintain the attractive appearance of our historic streetscapes. Kathy Keene, 205A Seneca Way. Same subject matter. This is from Jean Johnson. She is part of the Historic Preservation Commission, 666 Chesapeake Drive. I am writing in support of the revisions to 205-9 of the City Code that specifies changes for setbacks permitted in the National Register of Historic Districts and for front-facing garages on Union, Congress, and Washington streets. Both these changes will help to preserve historic streetscapes in our Tidewater town with special attention to Union, Washington, and Congress into our National Register Historic District designation in 1982. The next one is from Jim Nemeth. Jim didn't leave his address. I can validate he's, I believe, on Lafayette Street, or Lafayette Street, yeah. And this is addressed to Mr. Seipold. Would you please submit the following comments to the Mayor and Council on ordinance to amend City Zoning Code 205-9? The unique nature of our town, our Old Town District, deserves to be protected from unsympathetic new development. This ordinance will preserve the historic streetscape in 2 important ways. First, by keeping setbacks more uniform, the integrity of this historic base of a street is much better preserved. Our old town is a very walkable neighborhood, and uniform setbacks add to the interest and continuity of a street. It prevents a hodgepodge look that is not appealing. Second, Often in new construction, the trend is to build homes with garages as the closest thing to the street. If this happens enough, one soon has a street that is nothing but an alley of garage doors. Look around town today, and one will see most of the new construction follows this cookie-cutter approach, no matter the nature of the surrounding neighborhood. Our old parts of town have lanes in the rear of the property for intended garages. Having these garages as the focal point of new construction is a practice that is losing favor in many places. It disturbs the historic fabric of the streets and our predominantly older structures. For these reasons, I enthusiastically support this amendment and would recommend that it be extended to several other key streets in the historic district as well. A large part of our economic success in the downtown area can be directly connected to the small town, historic nature of the old part of our city. We would encourage respect for the neighborhood and propose new construction. And lastly, Mr. Mayor and Council, I have a comment from Ms. Taryn Martin. I think the mayor can vouch for her address. And this is in reference to one of the event applications this evening. 302 Squaw Court, by the way. For your consideration this evening are 4 events sponsored by the Havre Grace Independence Day Commission: the Carnival on the Chesapeake, the Independence Day Parade, and the Independence Day concerts at Hutchins Park and at Concord Point Park. We were all very saddened to have to cancel last year's Independence Day celebration in wake of the COVID-19 crisis. This year, we are cautiously optimistic that we will be able to move forward with plans for this year's Independence Day celebration. We will be monitoring community conditions in the city, county, and state regulations very closely, and will adjust or cancel our plans as needed if conditions dictate such changes. We will also be submitting in a detailed COVID safety plan for these events as we get closer to the event dates. With that being said, we truly hope to celebrate our independence together this year. Your approval of our event applications tonight will allow us to begin planning in earnest for a safe and successful celebration. Tonight, we are seeking your positive vote for the Carnival in the Chesapeake to be held June 15th through 19th in the Marina parking lot in Swale at Tidings Park. This serves as our commission's largest fundraiser. We are also seeking your positive vote for this year's Independence Day Parade and concerts, which will be held on Sunday, July the 4th. Although it has been customary for Havre de Grace to celebrate Independence Day before or after the actual holiday, our commission voted to change our planned celebration to Sunday, July 4th, after learning of competing events in the area. As part of our coordination with other local parade directors, we learned that all the Baltimore area parades, Dundalk, Catonsville, Towson, and Arbutus, have scheduled their events for Saturday, July the 3rd. Changing our parade date to Sunday, July 4th will allow us a better opportunity to contract with popular marching bands that participate in many of the Baltimore and Harford County parades. In addition, we will be coordinating closely with Bel Air parade directors, which will also hold their parade on Sunday, July 4th. There's much to plan for and consider with this year's celebration. We are incredibly hopeful that we will be able to plan and produce these great events to help us celebrate our independence in 2021. Thank you for your consideration this evening and for your continued support of the Havre de Grace Independence Day Commission. That concludes all the comments, Mr. Mayor.
Chief of Staff, thank you very much for reading all those into the record. Thank you. We're going to move on to item number 7, appointments. This evening we have a reappointment to the Youth Commission, and I'm going to hand that off to Councilmember Robertson.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor. Thank you. I move to reappoint Ms. Sarah Goad to the Youth Commission.
Second.
Council, I have a motion by Councilmember Robertson, seconded by Councilmember Boyer. This is for the reappointment of Ms. Sarah Goad to the Havre Grace Youth Commission. Question or comments? All those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say nay. The reappointment of Sarah Goad to the Havre Grace Youth Commission is approved by this council, 6-0 in the affirmative. Thank you very much, council. We're going to go to item 8, recognitions. This evening we have no recognitions. Item 10, proclamations. This evening we have no proclamations. Item 10, presentations. We do have 2 presentations this evening, and the first one is going to be a presentation from the American Legion and VFW to recognize Officer of the Year for the City of Havre de Grace.
I'm going to just sit this here. Hello. Good evening. For the folks at home, myself, Jason Robertson, I'm the second vice commander at the American Legion, and with me is Kevin King, the commander of the VFW, and we're here to recognize Officer Prashant for dutiful excellence in carrying out your duties. That may not understand the process. The American Legion, as well as the VFW, submits an application for an Officer of the Year every year for the police department and for the fire department, Fireman of the Year. Folks that we think should be recognized or that the officers should be recognized, that goes up to the Harford County Regional Department, Division of the American Legion, and then up to the Department of Maryland and to national. So this year, Officer Prashant received accolades from our county. So we'd like to present that plaque to you, sir, on behalf of the Legion. And from your local post, Post 47 right here in Havre de Grace, we'd love to give you this certificate of commendation, as well as a hearty handshake. Yeah, you can hold those in one hand. And our special 100th anniversary coin. So thank you very much for your service. It's an outstanding record, and I can't believe how fortunate we are to have such great officers. Commander, would you like to say a few words?
Actually, yes. It's this is my second time giving out a certificate for Officer of the Year, and I just want to say that it's an extreme pleasure. It's the officers like you and the individuals we've awarded in the past that really make the town a pleasure to live in, a safe place, and we know that we're protected each and every day. So I'd like to give you an appreciation certificate from the VFW. Thank you. And I am going to say that my wife and I are considering moving here, but we're going to be staying in town because it's the selfless service of the police officers that are here and around that really make us feel safe and like and enjoy the town.
Yeah, I just want to echo those comments because reading your citation, you know, I'd been briefed a little bit by the chief before the meeting, and I'd read it before when I got it from Cap Moulton, which you guys can come up to if you want. But, you know, I mean, that's all of that knowledge that you bring to our town and that you're willing to share is invaluable. So, you know, we're very fortunate to have you. I hope that you stay here for as long as you can and, you know, make a lifetime career out of this.
I want to thank the American Legion and VFW. I also want to thank the American Legion Post 17 in Edgewood. Past President Ed McCann also was on the committee, one of the selection committee. He said it was very, very difficult, and he goes, we need to put him in again for next year. I will say that Officer Prashant is a phenomenal police officer. He truly, truly is. But in addition to all of those other things that you read, and by the way, I'd like to take credit for compiling all of that information, but I cannot. Actually, Sergeant Silva, his sergeant, was the one that said, Chief, I'm going to nominate Todd, and this is what I want to put together. So I thank the sergeant for doing that. I truly, truly do. But in addition to all of those things, I can honestly say he's by far probably one of the nicest police officers I've ever met. I know Captain Crass thinks that I think he is, but I think it's actually Todd Frashoon. And I'll just give you a really quick story. A couple of years ago, I had a lady call the police department, and the dispatcher said, "Chief, there's a lady on the phone that wants to talk to you about an officer." I'm like, because usually, if somebody calls, we don't get a lot of calls for, "Hey, you did a great job," or anything like that. But I talked to the woman, and she was amazed because Todd and another officer, Tom DeLuca, they would see people doing things right. And then they would, like if the person pulled into a convenience store, that type of thing, they spent their own money and would give them like gift cards to Dunkin' Donuts or one of those places and thank them for driving properly. That understanding that a stop sign is not a suggestion, that people actually stopped. And I did appreciate Todd doing that. He is the nicest guy. Like I said, I wish I had 10 more of him. We have phenomenal police officers, and Todd is right up there. So thank you very much. I do appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
Hand it off to Todd. We're proud of you. I mean, we're so happy to have you on our force. And as I'm sitting here listening to your resume, and I'm familiar with your resume, but I'm thinking, but on the other hand, just be the happiest face of our police department. Every time I run into you, just in a good mood. I mean, to me, that's what makes you a role model, especially to the young citizens or young kids in our towns. And that to me is a great character trait for others to emulate. And I said, we're proud to have you here, and that award you hold in your hand is very well deserved. And I appreciate the American Legion and VFW presented it to you tonight. Thanks for being here. Now it's your turn to speak. Can I hold this for you? All right.
Semper Fi.
Semper Fi. All right, Semper Fi. All right, not a problem. Councilmember Boyer, Chair of Public Safety, any comments? Okay, terrific. Other comments? Let's get a picture of the group. We'll get one of the officers and the members of the Legion and stuff, and then the politicians jump in later.
Wait, the guy who put that in didn't get in this picture?
I know,
Come on,
right?
get in there.
No.
Get in there, go. He's gonna wanna remember you.
Yeah, he is.
Ready?
It's all about the Dunkin' Donut gift card.
Good job, everybody. Are you a member of the VFW and the local league?
I'm not very much.
It's a great
Sorry, I can read you. Not at all.
Good job, Jimmy.
Got it, yep.
Thank you for doing that.
Oh, it's our pleasure. It really is.
Kevin, thank you.
I know. Want to do this one next? Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, we have one item left under presentations. And ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be the annual Water and Sewer Commission report. And it's going to be presented tonight by Councilmember Martin.
Mayor?
Sir?
That's a hard act to follow. You want me down in well or up here?
You
Fine.
can present it from your seat, you can present it from a podium, the choice is yours.
This is a good spot.
Okay, you got it.
All right, this is the presentation from the annual recommendations by authority of Havre de Grace City Council Code 25, Article 11. The fiscal year, go ahead, Steve. Fiscal year 2020 State of the Water and Sewer. All right, and you all have a copy, a written copy, so I'm doing a PowerPoint presentation just to summarize it, but there is a written copy available as well, and it will be on the city website. When you look at the summary of the fiscal year, one of the things that you'll find is there's an additional $350,000 that was received from a rad load conversion, and it was used for the Warren Street sewer, Water Street main replacement. So we were able to bring in, it's usually not something that we get, but $350,000 was able to be brought in. When you look at the summary of our connections, you can hit the next one, Steve. We projected 80. The actual connections were 54, so the variance was 26. We kind of attribute this to the impact of COVID, because if you look at the fiscal year 2019, there were 76, so we were really close to that 80 number. So we believe going forward, the 80 is going to be a more accurate number than the actual connections for this year. The projected recovery costs were 1.480 million. The actual was 940,000. So again, the variance was a negative 530,000. Summary of the fiscal year. Funds to address the revenues required are generated by three distinct revenue sources: connection fees and capital cost recovery fees, rates charged to customer for the purchase of water, which includes a sewage rate component, creation of a fee structure of some kind. All combined, the revenue sources from A and B historically continue to underperform the revenue necessary to meet the city's obligations for debt and any realistic capital improvement. A note is there's 128 new connections annually required to fully meet the current debt obligations. So you can see when we plan at 80, but we really need 128. The mayor and city council recognize the vulnerability of the water and sewer fund and continue to monitor the city growth and where necessary to raise rates to fund required infrastructure, maintenance, and replacement. We received citizen approval to borrow $15 million over the next 5 years to fund infrastructure maintenance improvement, and for that we want to thank the citizens. Acceptance of the legislative and executive execution of the Water and Sewer Commission fiscal year 2020 recommendations, continued public outreach programs to educate the citizens on the challenges of Fund 9, continued the strategy through the Department of Economic Development to encourage future economic growth through aggressive efforts to attract high-volume water users. Remain open to any negotiations with Hartford County to be available for, an available water source for them. Impact of sediment from Conowingo Dam and water treatment plant and dredging of marinas and the channels is a paramount watch for the city right now. And implementation of the infrastructure replacement fee. The year-to-date overview of the current fiscal year, 2021. The Commission is pleased and remains confident the challenges of the water and sewer funds are both recognized and understood by the Mayor and City Council. This is most evident by the following Mayor and Council actions. Following through with the referendum on February 4th, 2020, that was overwhelmingly approved by the citizens, and borrowing $9.7 million, initiating the projects of replacing aging infrastructure. Addition of an interactive capital improvement project map on the Department of Public Works website. So anytime any citizen wants to see where a program is, they can go to the city website, go to DPW and be able to look and see where we are headed and what the projects are, and it's updated every 2 months. We're adding Aberdeen as a customer for excess water production and capabilities. Within the next year, we should be able to start selling, not all that we had anticipated because they're still a little further behind, but we will start picking up some of the areas off of Route 40 over the next year where we will be selling water to Aberdeen. Implementation of new development legislation within the city limits to reduce red tape for developers and city residents. Again, bringing people into the city and making it easier for them to become residents and citizens of Havre de Grace. Continue engineering modeling that will enable both short and long-term strategic planning, development and prioritization of detailed capital improvement plan. And here's one that is kind of good and bad. Water and sewer cutoff notice reached approximately 400 this year. The good news is, as of today, with the assistance of Harford County and the citizens coming in and working with the finance department, right now, we're down to only 10 cutoffs. So the notices went out, there was money found available, people came in and worked, and we're down from 400 to just 10 residents that are facing cutoff notices. So again, I want to thank the finance department and the administration for their efforts to keep the water running for our residents. Challenges for fiscal year 2022. Maintaining the momentum. The administration must continue its marketing strategy, discover Havre de Grace as the city of choice. To own and operate a business, to relocate a family, to experience our new middle and senior high school, to experience our parks and participate in our events, while simultaneously demanding a time-sensitive and aggressive reconstruction of our water treatment plant and high-priority infrastructure projects being completed seamlessly to the end users. Our recommendations for fiscal year 2022, as required by the City Code, Chapter 25, Article 11, Section 25-69B, the Commission submits the following recommendations to the administration. Continuing the CCRF and the IRF at their current levels, no increase. Continuing negotiations of the current Harford County Havre de Grace water plant and water purchase. Agreement with the primary focus on creating a mutual beneficiary relationship. The Director of Public Works should to continue to update the CIP annually and seek all capital improvement grant opportunities. Debt service. The administration must continue its practice of realistic estimates for annual connections in preparing the fiscal 22 budget and adjust expenses downward for revenue shortfalls. Consider a legislative mandate for annual inflation rate increases to meet the annual increase in operating costs to maintain rising employee and chemical costs should be considered. The administration should be sensitive to any pressure to use water and sewer revenue to pay for the debt. Continue emphasis on employee succession plan for both the water plant and wastewater plant. They need to be addressed. Establish a plan for the replacement of the water treatment plant to add additional capacity and repurpose the prime real estate in open spaces for the city residents. Develop an aggressive plan to identify and eliminate stormwater infiltration into the wastewater treatment plant. Consider alternate uses for the processed water from the wastewater treatment plant. The Commission wishes to recognize the fact that several high-level recommendations from the money spent on the 2017 Black and Beach study have been completed and implemented by the city. Through the implementation of a comprehensive CIP and Beehive, the Department of Public Works can now develop a forecast of renewal and replacement requirements for the water and sewer infrastructure. With bond financing available, CIP priority lists can be addressed with an attainable timeline. Collaboration between the Commission, Finance, and DPW, a model that included a rate schedule fee and structure, was designed. Implementation of the CIP and continuation of the preventive maintenance program will see a decrease in costly unplanned repairs and infrastructure. Continuation of the IRF. We wish to thank all the citizens for their continued support of the efforts of the Water and Sewer Commission and the City of Havre Grace for the passage of the bond bill referendum. We commend the mayor, city council, and administration in identifying failures, repairing critical components, and committing to improvements throughout Fund 9 areas, and continued emphasis on the reductions in operating expenses using best practices. It is imperative the revenues continue to be allocated as efficiently and effectively as possible. This is particularly true for any borrowed revenue. This report is respectively submitted by James Clark, our new citizen member, Tracy Conaway, Chief of Finance, Fred Cullums, citizen member, Steve Gamaturia, Chief of Staff, Garrett Lytle, citizen member and secretary, David Martin, council member and commissioner chair, Harry Miller, citizen member. A special thanks to William Russell, who was a current member and is retiring from the commission, Jason Robertson, an active council member, Tim Whitty, the director of DPW, and Dan Wisnick, citizen member. Thank you, Mr. Mayor and citizens, for taking the time to hear this report.
Councilmember Martin, thank you very much for the presentation and report. Sincere appreciation goes to all the members of the Water and Sewer Commission and the members of my staff who support it. Another great comprehensive report that the citizens should be very educational to citizens. Chief of Staff, is this report, are we going to be able to put this up on the city website for anybody who wants to view it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we'll try to have it up next day or two on the city website.
Adam may have already put it up.
It may already be up there? Okay, excellent. I just want to make sure that citizens watching this that want to see it in more depth, or citizens at home expecting it, because it is an annual report, that they have access to it. Again, so I'll have comments to make, but I'll save it for my presentation of the annual budget when it comes to the outlook for 2021-22. But what I'll do right now is just open up any comments from the council members on reports. Any comments from council?
I'll make one.
Council President?
Dave, that was well put together, well articulated, and I just want to take this time and effort to thank the entire commission for their tireless dedication. They've really had to face some challenges, and they've done so with professionalism and great research, and their efforts are truly paying off. And I just thank you again for your service and that of all the commission members.
Thank you.
Councilmember Robertson?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I just want to echo the council president's comment. Big thank you to my fellow council member, Dave Martin, who's an active member of the Water and Sewer Commission, and all of the commission members. It's amazing the talent and the knowledge base that we have serving this city for free. We don't pay these folks anything, and you know they're here working really hard to make sure that the city is sustainable in the future, and you know that things are economically sound. So you know, thank you to all of them and the city staff that works so diligently alongside the commission as well.
Thank you, Councilmember Robertson. Any other questions or comments? Again, Councilmember Martin, thank you for the presentation. Appreciate it. We're going to go to item number 11, resolutions. This evening, we have no resolutions. Item 12, ordinances. This evening, we have an ordinance. An ordinance concerning the establishment of maximum setbacks in the National Register Historic District and prohibiting front-load garages on certain streets. This is going to be a first reading, and we will hand this off to Councilmember Ringsager, Chair of the Planning Committee.
Mr. Mayor, Council, I make a motion to introduce an ordinance concerning the establishment of maximum setbacks in the National Register Historic District and prohibiting front-load garages on certain streets for first reading.
Second.
Council, I have a motion by Councilmember Ringsager, seconded by Councilmember Zenner. This is a motion to introduce an ordinance. Questions or comments on the introduction? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion to introduce ordinance carries 6-0 in the affirmative. Council, this is going to be ordinance number 1049, an ordinance of the mayor and city council of the city of Havre de Grace, adopted pursuant to the authority of Article 11E of the Maryland Constitution the Local Government Article of the Annotated Code of Maryland, and Sections 33 and 34 of the Havre de Grace City Charter for the purpose of amending City Zoning Code 205-9 to establish maximum setbacks in the National Register Historic District and prohibit front-load garages on certain streets. Council, to have a motion to adopt this ordinance on first reading.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilmember Zinner and seconded by Councilmember Boyer. Questions or comments on this before the vote? Roll call. Councilmember Zinner.
I just wanted to thank the members of the Historic Preservation Commission for their involvement with this ordinance, and they were very appreciative of Councilmember Ringsacker and Shane Grimm's efforts in getting this before the council members this evening, as well as you heard from the 3 letters that we received, that it has overwhelming support from that group. So I want to thank everyone that was involved in this, and hope that it goes through okay.
Excellent. Thank you, Councilmember Zinner. Councilmember Ringsacker.
Mr. Mayor, the intent of this ordinance is to maintain a uniformity within the historic district and on certain streets, not allowing front-load garages there. This is for infill and new construction. Shane Grimm, our Director of Planning, has prepared some slides, so I'd like to call upon him to present them and give a more in-depth discussion as to the intent of this ordinance and what we hope to achieve.
Council President, any objections? Okay, Council, we're still under the question, but we're under Councilmember Ringsacker's comments. We're calling forward Mr. Grimm to give some more details.
Thank you, Mayor Martin. I'm not going to go into too great a detail because I think the residents and the folks from the HPC did a really good job talking about why we need this ordinance. And I wanted to thank Councilwoman Boyer for suggesting that I put some slides together just to kind of illustrate what it is we're trying to accomplish. As we've talked about, we're really trying to get to the point of having some design standards in the National Register Historic District so that we can really be context sensitive as we look at new development downtown and new infill development. So it might be a little bit tough to see here, but this is a block of Washington Street. And let's see if I'll come over this way. So it's a little tough to see here, but all of the homes on the block are uniform except for this home here. I don't think so. I don't think it's.
Hold the mic.
Okay, so this house sits back considerably from the other houses that are right up on the right-of-way line. So you can see that pretty well there. The house that I was pointing to was constructed some years ago. It's a very attractive house, but with most dwellings in the district, they're required to be set back 15 feet from the front right-of-way line. That's not unusual. However, it just really does not work in a historic downtown. It wouldn't work in any historic downtown because historically, the way it was developed is the homes were put right on the right-of-way, and in many cases, as we deal with license agreements, some of the homes are actually in the right-of-way. So it really is a context thing. We want to preserve the streetscapes, the historic streetscapes, instead of having almost like jagged teeth. So if we go to the next slide. This is one that I showed you a couple weeks ago when I did my presentation. And it looks nice, really nice new infill development. You can see it's sit back, but when you look at it, next slide, Steve, thank you. So when you look at it there, you can see how far it's set back from the homes that are traditionally along these historic streets. So what we're doing is saying that instead of having a minimum setback requirement, we have a maximum, and you can't go beyond that maximum. It can be adjusted based on several factors that are in the draft code, that if there are conflicts with utilities or other things, we can adjust it, or if there is not a consistent pattern along the street, we can also adjust it as well. So just wanted to kind of give you that visual, and again, thanks to Councilwoman Boyer for suggesting that, because this is something that really you kind of need to see visually to understand what we're trying to do. I did receive very good support from the HPC, from Planning Committee, and other folks. So I think this is something that is much needed and is, I really believe in incrementalism in government, that you need to just take slow and steady steps towards a goal. And in this sense, it's more incrementalism towards design standards downtown that aren't going to be overbearing, but are going to show that our appreciation for our history and that we want to really make sure that what is new makes sense with the old. That's all I have. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Grimm. Any questions for Mr. Grimm? Councilmember Robertson?
I really appreciate the illustration. I know that, that helps me visualize what you're talking about here, and hopefully that helps the folks at home. And I really do appreciate that, a lot of thought has gone into making sure that the historic nature of our properties downtown, as we encourage infills, are being preserved and kept, for posterity. So thank you very much, Mr. Grimm.
Sure.
No questions? Mr. Grimm, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Councilmember Ringstock, any further comments?
No, sir, thank you.
Any other questions or comments before the roll call vote? Okay, council. I'm now going to call the roll call vote on ordinance 1049. This is for first reading and adoption. Councilmember Zinner?
I'm sorry, me?
Councilmember Zinner, yes or no?
I didn't hear you, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Yes.
Yes. Councilmember Martin?
Yes.
Councilmember Boyer?
Yes.
Councilmember Ringsager?
Yes.
Councilmember Robertson?
Yes.
Council President Glenn? Yes. By a roll call vote of 6-0 in the affirmative, ordinance 1049 concerning the establishment of maximum setbacks in the National Register Historic District and prohibiting front-load garages on certain streets is adopted on first reading. And we're going to need a public hearing on this. Council President, are you eyeing up March 1st? Okay. 7 p.m. Okay, public hearing on ordinance 1049 will be here at the Havre City Council chambers, March 1st at 7 p.m., preceding the council meeting. Thank you very much, council. Item 13 is old business, and this evening we have no old business. Item 14 is new business, and we have a few items here. We have Easter egg hunts, and we got 4th of July, Independence Day stuff to approve. So we're going to hand this off to the chief staff to give the introduction and the background on each one, and then we'll vote on them. So we'll start with item 1, annual Easter egg hunt. Chief staff.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor and Council, we have the first event this evening is the annual Easter egg hunt. It's sponsored by the Havre Grace Rec Committee. It will be held on Saturday, April the 3rd at noon, and will end about 12:03. Setup will be at 8 a.m. The costs were DPW $41.75 for trash and restrooms. The police department, there's no cost. It'll be handled on normal patrol. A COVID plan is included and will be reviewed every 30 days up just prior to the event to make sure that we are in compliance, and if there's any needed changes, we will take care of that. The COVID plan as it exists today has been submitted to the Harford County Health Department.
Not sure if they'll be able to keep their 6-foot distance, but I'm sure they won't have a cumulative total of more than 10 minutes together.
Absolutely.
So I think they'll be okay on the time.
We also have, which was not in your packet, we do have the certificate of insurance that was submitted. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Chief. Council, I have a motion to approve the Easter egg hunt.
So moved.
I have Councilmember Boyer and seconded by Councilmember Ringsacher. Perfect. Is that correct? Okay. Questions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion to approve the annual Easter egg hunt for April 3rd, 2021 from 12 o'clock to 12:05 p.m. at Concord Point Park is approved by council, 6-0 in the affirmative. Number 2.
Mayor and Council, the next event is the Carnival on the Chesapeake. which will be held June 15th through 19th and is sponsored by the Havre de Grace Independence Day Commission. The details are as follows. Set up by Houghton Enterprises on Monday, June 14th. That'll be some equipment will be parked in the parking lot down at the Yacht Basin as early as the 13th. That's the Sunday before. Carnival provider will be in close contact with the Director of Administration, Mr. Seipold, to coordinate all Carnival and/or City of Havre de Grace needs regarding the setup and the layout. Traditionally, they have a setup plan that works in the parking lot. This year, we're going to be moving to the swale a bit, so we'll have to augment that plan somewhat. The carnival will open Tuesday, June the 15th through Friday, June the 18th from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. On Saturday, June 19th, it'll be open from 1 p.m. to 10 p.m. Ride tickets will be $1.25 each. It'll be unlimited ride. Wristbands will be offered for $25. The carnival will also offer games, concessions, and other forms of entertainment. Fencing of the area will be provided by Fence by Fenner. Porta pots will be rented by the Independence Day Commission and will be set up along the fenced area. Carnival ticket booths will be managed by the Independence Day Commission, board members, and volunteers. For more information regarding the carnival provider, you can go to HoughtonCarnival.com, and that's HoughtonCarnival.com. And council, you all will recall that since we've gone with this vendor, it's been a class carnival, and the ownership has been very receptive to working with the city on any of our requests. The Havre de Grace Independence Day Commission receives 25% of all ticket sales, and this is a great fundraiser for our parade and Independence Day festivities. A COVID plan will be submitted prior to the event based on the current COVID status and any protocols. There is no rain date for the carnival. If it rains the entire week, then it rains the entire week. I also would mention that the DPW costs for the event are $368. The police department cost $16,950, all included within your packet. And Mayor, I'll answer any questions by council if there is any.
Council questions? Okay, fair enough. Do I have a motion to approve the carnival in Chesapeake?
So moved.
Motion to approve by Councilmember Ringsager and seconded by Councilmember Zinner. This is for the carnival in Chesapeake, June 15th and 19th, 2021. Questions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Carnival in the Chesapeake plan for June 15th and 19th carries 6-0 in the affirmative. Chief of Staff?
Thank you, Mayor. Council, the next event is the Havre de Grace Independence Day Parade, our signature event. This year's theme will be honoring our healthcare heroes. Again, sponsored by the Havre de Grace Independence Day Commission with the following information. The setup by the commission and members and volunteers will begin at 8 a.m. on Sunday, July the 4th. Lineup area roads include Juniata Street, Stokes Street, Warren Street, Pennington Avenue, Congress Avenue, Bourbon Street, Fountain Street, Concord Street, and will close at 11 a.m. Parade entrance will arrive and stage at 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. Union Avenue will be closed at 1 p.m. The parade grandstand stage will be set up at the intersection of Union Avenue and Pennington Avenue, and a hospitality tent for participants will be set up at Warren Street. The parade will start at 2 p.m. Anticipated parade entries include approximately 100 different entries, marching bands, community organizations, youth groups, antique vehicles, fire companies, elected officials, and much more. Food truck vendors will be set up at intersections of Union Avenue and cross streets. The exact layout to be provided to the Havre de Grace Administration and the Department of Public Works. A cooling station and first aid station will be set up on Commerce Street. This will be supervised by the Havre de Grace Ambulance Corps. Additional first aid support will be provided by the Ambulance Corps along the entire parade route. Security provided along parade route by the Havre de Grace Police Department and the police auxiliary members. Road closure and cleanup support provided by the Havre de Grace Department of Public Works. The HHS, the high school auditorium, will be open for parade participants and restroom facilities and a cooling center. A VIP parade reception and commission operations base will be held at the Havre de Grace Opera House. VIP parade parking will be at City Hall parking lot, and there is no rain date for the parade. The cost for the police department is $10,170. The Department of Public Works is $1,472. And Mayor, again, I'd be happy to answer any questions should there be any.
Thank you very much, Chief of Staff. I have a motion to approve the Havre de Grace Independence Day Parade.
Second.
Motion by Council President, seconded by Councilman Ringsacher. Questions or comments?
Normally,
boy.
for the fireworks especially, we have a lot of additional police support from allied agencies. With Bel Air having their parade on the same day and probably their fireworks on the same day, will that have any impact on us, or are we already working to try to get other agencies to support us?
The chief's already made arrangements with all the allied agencies, and I would be certain that Bel Air will be attending their own and not attending ours this year, but she's compensated for that.
Okay, great, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments? Okay, for the Havre de Grace Independence Day Parade for July 4th, 2021, we had a motion by the Council President, seconded by Councilmember Ringsacher. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All against say nay. Havre de Grace Independence Day Parade for July 4th, 2021 is approved by the Council, 6-0 in the affirmative. Item 4, Chief of Staff.
Thank you, Mayor. Council, the next event application is for the Havre de Grace Independence Day Concert at Hutchins Park. This again is sponsored by our very active Havre de Grace Independence Day Commission. Setup will be at 1 p.m. on the 4th of July. The concert will start at 5 p.m. It ends at 10 p.m. It will break down at 11 p.m. Details are as follows. The park will be fenced in before the event starts at the entrance with a one-way in, one-way out entrance and exit. Adjoining streets will be closed to traffic and parking as directed by the Havre de Grace Police Department. The gates will be opened at 5 p.m. The concert to include 2 groups, More from 5 to 7, and Here's to the Night from 7:30 to 9:30. Tickets are $20 in advance and at $25 at the gate. Beer and wine will be served, will be sold on site. The Harford County Liquor Board license will be held by the Celebrate the Fourth Foundation, a committee of the Community Projects of Havre de Grace, Inc. Members and volunteers will handle the ID of guests at the entrance gate. Guests over 21 years of age will be given a wristband identifying them to be of legal drinking age. Drink tickets will be purchased from a table next to the beverage truck. Ticket sellers will check for wristbands before selling tickets to guests. Tickets will be redeemed at the beverage truck for beverage of choice. Volunteers at the, I think I just repeated that. I'm sorry. Volunteers at the beverage truck will also check for wristbands and handling beverages to guests. Volunteers positioned at exit gates to ensure that no alcoholic beverages leave the site. Tip certified professional event staff from B Scene Events will help manage the event. And tips, by the way, is training for intervention procedures. It's required by the liquor board. Beverage sales will end at 9 p.m. The fireworks will begin approximately 9:30. The park will be closed at 10 p.m. From the city, services that we'll be providing is trash and recycling containers, DPW staff, and security presence by the Havre Grace Police Department. A COVID plan will be submitted prior to the event based on the COVID status at that time. And again, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Council, I have a motion to approve the Independence Day concert at Hutchins Park.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilmember Zinner and seconded by Councilmember Boyer. Questions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Independence Day concert at Hutchins Park for July 4th, 2021, 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. is approved. 6-0 in the affirmative. Chief Staff.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Our final event for this evening is the Independence Day concert and fireworks at Concord Point Park. Again, sponsored by our Independence Day Commission. Setup will be on July the 4th at 4 p.m. The event starts, that is the concert portion, at 7:30 and ends at 10 p.m. The fireworks will begin about 9:30. Breakdown will occur at 11 p.m. There is a rain date for the fireworks, which will be the following day. The event details are as follows. The stage mobile from Parks and Rec will be set up in the park. Concert from the Maryland Military Band will begin at 7:30 and last till 9:30. Band members will park in the grass lot area near the Maritime Museum. We will provide electric to the stage. Several food trucks will be located on Concord Street. And the commission will also have porta pots located near the city restrooms to support the restrooms. No parking will be permitted along Concord Street and along the side streets directed by the Havre Grace Police Department. Other than the trash and recycling, some DPW staff with support of those two operations, and then the security presence by the Havre Grace Police Department. We'll have some electrical set up that DPW will take care of for the band. A COVID plan will be submitted prior to the event based on the COVID protocols at that time. And Mayor, that's the final event. I'll be happy to answer any questions should there be any.
Thank you very much. Council, I have a motion to approve Independence Day concert and fireworks.
Second.
Motion by the Council President, seconded by Councilmember Boyer. Questions or comments on the event? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Independence Day concert and fireworks at Concord Point Park, July the 4th, 2021, from 7:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. is approved by the council, 6-0 in the affirmative. Thank you very much, Chief of Staff, for reading all the information to the record. Thank you very much, council. I commend the citizens on the Independence Day Commission for all their hard work getting this planned. Unfortunately, as we all know, last year didn't work out as pretty much everything in the area was canceled because of COVID-19. We're optimistically thinking that by the time the 4th of July comes, we all can celebrate our nation's independence a little less guarded this year. And your approval of these events gives the commission the go-ahead to start working in earnest to get these events going, carry them out. So it's no small task. It's a lot of work to do, but it's a labor of love with the members of the commission. So we look forward to working with them, and hopefully it's a good event. Right, Council President?
Absolutely.
I can't wait.
Looking forward to it.
We missed it last year. Just wasn't right, was it? Not having a celebration, but hopefully it'll all work out this year. Thank you, Council. We're going to move into Director's Report. Item A, we're going to start with the Chief of Staff.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. I have no comments this evening. I do want to wish our Director of Administration a nice warm vacation as he basks in Florida.
Well deserved. Thank you very much, Chief. We're going to call upon Mr. Shane Grimm, Director of Planning. Good evening, Mr. Grimm.
Good evening again, sir, council members and citizens. I wanted to thank you for taking up the ordinance tonight that we spoke about earlier. Again, that'll be a long way to helping us with our design standards in the future for the National Register Historic District. So thanks again. Looking forward to the hearing and second reading and adoption, hopefully. Also wanted to let you know that the Planning Commission will be meeting next Monday, February 22nd, to review or continue the review of Parcel F in Bully Rock. And that will be at 6:30, and that will be a virtual meeting. As always, I would ask that citizens that would like to participate in the meeting contact me directly no later than 5 o'clock that day. If you only want to view the meeting, you only need to go to our webpage and click on the YouTube link. If you want to participate, then you need the Zoom link, and that's where you can contact me directly. Or if citizens don't wish to give their own comments and they would like me to read them in the record, they can do that as well. One thing that did come up over the weekend, I got a number of emails from residents in Bully Rock concerning Parcel F as it relates to the homeowners administration. And I did follow up with about 45 different residents that emailed me concerning whether or not Parcel F would be part of the homeowners association for the community. And the answer is unequivocally yes. The City of Havre de Grace zoning code under planned adult communities, which Bully Rock is a planned adult community, specifically states that every lot or unit within Bully Rock must be part of the homeowners association. It's my understanding that the developers also indicated that that's what their intention is. So regardless, the city code does state it has to be a part of the HOA. So I've received a few of the comments or a few emails back from those citizens who understood and have no longer a need to comment. So I think maybe that addresses some of the issues that citizens have, but certainly will be available on Monday to answer any other questions that they may have. And then certainly I anticipate some more projects in front of the commission soon, including different phases of Bully Rock that will be coming to us very shortly. Also, really looking forward to groundbreaking on Blenheim Run. I know we talk about it a lot, but each day we get closer and closer to fruition on that first 51-unit building, which will be our first true mixed-use project in Havre de Grace, and we're really excited for that. The developer and his team have been really great to work with, and so we're really looking forward to that, and I think that's going to be a big deal for the city. And just lots of good stuff still going on that we're really proud to be a part of. That's all I have.
Well done, Mr. Grimm.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for everything. Any questions for Mr. Grimm? Councilmember Zinner.
Mr. Grimm, can you tell me, has the Mitchell property been demolished yet, or do you have a question? I would think that would start before the property, but I'm not sure if that's a requirement at that time.
That's correct. So we have received a permit for the demolition of the structure. To my knowledge, that has not occurred yet. I believe that will likely occur sometime in March. I did receive some encouraging news from Mr. Layfield, who is the president of Green Street Housing, who is an ardent historic preservationist, environmentalist. Believe it or not, you don't usually hear those things associated with developers, but he certainly is. And originally, he did not think he'd be able to salvage much of the materials from the home and the barn, but after further inspection, they are going to be salvaging a fair amount of those materials. And again, I expect that to be likely in March, and it'll probably take several weeks for them to complete that work.
Any other questions for Mr. Grimm? Thank you, sir.
Have a good evening.
You too. I'd like to call forward our Director of Economic Development, Ms. Erica Quisenberry Sturgill. Good evening.
Evening, Mayor. How are you?
We're doing well, thank you. Welcome.
Thank you. Mayor and council, in the effort to have some brevity, we have a lot of information to go through, but I've kind of shortened it down a little bit. We are going to have the Havre Grace Economic Development Advisory Board meeting tomorrow, and there'll also be a TEDCO meeting, which is the Maryland Technology Advisory Council, on some new technology grants that they're putting forward in new investment fund programs. TEDCO has assisted a lot of the companies that we currently have in Havre Grace and worked with a lot of our technology and defense contractors. And some of those defense contractors that we'll be sharing the information with from that TEDCO conference that are located in Havre Grace, not necessarily with large red signs that say I'm a defense contractor or a technology company, include Ad Hoc Research Group, Bow Business Solutions, BH Miller Group, Computer Systems and Networking, Science LLC, Gemini 2 Enterprises, Health Equity Associates, Highbridge Consulting, iTech Fed, ITM4G, Hythe Research Information and Technology, Kuzma Technical Enterprises, L7 Enterprise Group, Loughborough Associates, MC Furman Associates, MMW Concepts, SciTech Services, Strategic Alliance Group, TerraSense, SafeRad, and CaseTech are just some of the defense contractors and technology companies working with here in Havre Grace. We've also distributed information on Harford County Restaurant COVID funds to all of our restaurants in the city of Havre Grace, and we've attained close to a 100% participation of restaurants. We also heard back from Tidewater Grill. They're planning to open on March 1, 2021, so we'll have a reopening there. And then I've also heard from a lot of folks who are also looking for employment opportunities in the area, some folks who have lost some jobs. So the Susquehanna Workforce Network, which is located here in Havre Grace as well, is holding a virtual hiring event. That'll be on Thursday, February 25, and that is in partnership with the Maryland Department of Labor. It'll be from 10 to 11:30 a.m. It's a completely free event. There will also be links so that you'll be able to do Zoom interviews with some of the folks who are hiring. We have a number of companies in Havre Grace who are hiring currently as well. If anyone wants additional information on that, they can visit swnetwork.org, susquehannaworkforcenetwork.org, or call 410-575-7248. They'll register you and send you a link so that you can automatically go into the Zoom conference to be part of that workforce training and the job fair. Any questions?
Excellent. Any questions from Director of Economic Development?
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much for the report. Thank you. I'd like to call forward our Director of Finance, Mr. George DeHorty.
Good
evening, sir.
Mayor.
Welcome.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Thank you. The current financial condition of the city is as follows. The general fund is sitting at a little over $6.2 million, which is about $1.6 million ahead of where we thought we'd be at this point. We started the year about $1.9 million ahead. Unfortunately, the income tax receipts, due to people losing a lot of work and being unemployed, have fallen about a little over $500,000 behind where we thought we'd be. In addition, we had our highway user fees are still has yet to be received, and the estimates from State Highway is $60,000 below where we thought. On the plus side, as we've been running with minimal operations, our salaries and benefits are below budget by about $700,000. And interestingly enough, where our real property tax billings is actually higher than what we projected by about just under $120,000. Moving on to Fund 9, Water Sewer Fund, you will recall the last meeting I announced that we were in a fund deficit because we made the big debt service payment. I'm happy to report we're back in the black, and we're sitting at just about $500,000. This was faster than I thought we would get there. What I failed to take into account was that the February billing period is in the largest cycle of the 3 cycles. So we're doing well. The operating profit is sitting at $2 million plus. Add to that $1.6 million in capital cost fees, and we have spent in capital projects and debts $3.4 million. And that all comes up to being a $185,000 increase for the year, even after the debt service payment. So we are doing very well. The marina is sitting at just under $1.09 million, and it's increased $264,000 for the year, and that compares to the $207,000 same time last year, so we're doing a little bit better. Once again, I think the operations have slowed down quite a bit because of the COVID restrictions and its unintended financial benefit of not spending as much money as we thought we would. And those are the three major funds as of today. If there are any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Any questions for Mr. Doherty, council? Mr. Doherty, thank you for being here this evening. Thank you for the report. Appreciate it.
My pleasure, sir.
I'd like to call forward Mr. Tim Whitty, the Director of Public Works for City Havre. Grace. Good evening, Mr. Whitty.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Just a couple of things to report on today. Last Friday, we met with Baltimore Gas and Electric Company, went over the remaining paving projects that are going to be done in the spring that they were working on, which basically was both sides of Juniata Street, down at the lower end. We're also going to redo all Pearl Street and portions of Erie Street. So we're going to finalize and get the costs associated with that. We're going to meet again with the contract. It was a pretty cold day, and we weren't able to really sit down and mark it out. So we're going to go back down when the weather warms up, hopefully when it stops snowing, go down, outline those areas again, and get a cost to do that work. Well, it's going to be a little higher on the paving side because we see some sidewalk. Obviously, you see deteriorated curb. It makes better sense while you're paving it to get all that repaired too. And so we're going to be working on identifying that as well. With BG&E, we just kind of set the pavement limits that we work with. So up until now, including this so far with the roads that were completed, we had the 400 block of Union, 400 to 600 block of Franklin, and the 300 to 500 block of North Stoke Street. So as soon as like I said, the weather warms up, we'll be going ahead and moving forward with that project. They are going to be doing a phase 4 project, gas upgrades. We're going to meet with them over the summer and kind of go over those limits. Again, it's an opportunity for us to share in pavement upgrades. In a lot of cases, when they go, we kind of like it when they run the gas line straight across the road because then they do both sides. So it's works out for us. And then the other portion this thing I want to talk about is we did have the pre-bid meeting for the water line to Aberdeen. So that was today. We had six contractors call in. They were all very interested in the project. We answered some questions, sent some additional information out this afternoon, and probably follow up tomorrow with some other responses. And then those bids are going to be due March 5th, with the intention of starting that project by April to start construction to get down to, initially the big point is to get down to the Blenheim Farm development, those apartment complexes, to get their water to there for the tie-in. It's 57 connection charges, about $1 million, so there's some incentive to get there.
We'll take it.
So, with that, that's all I have for this evening. If anybody has any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Whitty, council? Thank you very much for being here, sir. Thank you for the report.
Thank you.
I'd like to call forward our Chief of Police, Chief Teresa Walter. Good evening, Chief.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I just want to remind people it's that time of the year again with the IRS, paying taxes, and also we're starting to see people call us because they're getting calls from the IRS saying that they need to pay their taxes, that type of thing. Again, I want to remind people about scams like that. You know, the IRS is not going to call you, they're going to send you something. And we, when I say we, meaning law enforcement, we are not going to come to your house and demand, you know, any money or anything like that. And unfortunately, lots of times our seniors are the ones that get preyed upon when it comes to scams. I just also want to mention something else when it comes to scams. Recently, we have seen an increase of, it has a tendency to be seniors. People will call them up and say, hey, we're from a law enforcement agency and your identification was found in some drug raids that were conducted, and in order for you not to be implicated in it, we need you to send, you know, a certain dollar amount. And then they're getting, unfortunately it is the seniors, to mail large amounts of dollars, a large quantity of dollars to different locations. And fortunately, we've been able to retrieve a substantial amount of those. But what we have found is that in many cases, seniors do not want the money back, or they say they don't want the money back because they are afraid that their family will find out what has happened. They're embarrassed. But we've been able to resolve that and return all the money to them as they go along. But please pay attention to those kind of scams. And we like to remind people, if you get called up, say you're a big winner, but you need to send money for, you know, shipping and handling, don't do it. If there's an urgency saying that, oh, you know, your nephew was arrested and we need you to send bail money or gift cards to get him bailed out, again, don't do that. Check with your family, make sure that the nephew or whomever is actually where they're supposed to be. Don't be rushed into anything. So I just want to remind people of some of those scams that are going around. The other thing I want to do is I want to thank a lot of our citizens because they have seen what they believe is suspicious activity on the Ring cameras. And they have called us or they have sent us the videos, and we've really, really appreciated it because it has in several occasions appeared that people were trying or checking the vehicle doors to see whether or not they were locked or unlocked. And on the upside, though, most of those vehicles that were checked were actually locked, so we do appreciate that people are starting to do that, and also not keeping a lot of their personal property or valuable property in their vehicles. So again, I do want to thank our citizens for thinking about that and letting us see what's going on in their neighborhood. Pretty much it's overnight. So, and that's really about my report for this evening.
Thank you very much, Chief. Does anybody have any questions for Chief Police? Okay. Have a wonderful evening. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks for the report. We're going to go to item 16, business from the mayor's office. Just a couple comments. This evening. COVID numbers as of today, Hartford County has broken the 12,000 mark. We're at 12,095 cases for Hartford County since the pandemic began almost a year ago. And city of Havre de Grace, we are at 809 cases. So slowing down for sure. Taking us a week to get almost 10 cases, it seems like. So definitely it's slowing down a little bit with the numbers. As of today, we've had the best 7-day rolling average since November 6th, since before the wintertime spike started. And we also have the lowest number of currently hospitalized in the state since November 17th. So, you know, I think with the vaccine rollout, I understand the Chief of Staff told me today from a conference call that the state is now getting almost 12,000 doses a day. That's being distributed throughout the state through various facilities, whether it's through state health departments, hospitals, or pharmacies such as CVS and Walgreens. So, you know, I just want to let all my citizens know, we realize about maybe less than 10% of our population has had a chance to be vaccinated. But, you know, don't get discouraged. Hang in there. Every day, more and more people will have access to vaccines. Just keep watching the news. The news keeps telling you where you can get the vaccines. I also know that there are sites you can sign up for online. Forgive me, I don't know the site. My wife signed up to it, but it'll actually send you a text message when some of these agencies have availability, such as Walgreens and CVS, and it'll give, at least let you know it's time to try to get an appointment. So I do believe as time goes by, there'll be more available for people. So I know there's a lot of people still nervous because they haven't gotten their vaccine shot yet. But the good news is, as you're trying to get your vaccine shot, some around you already have there. So it's a growing immunity. You know, I still haven't had my vaccine shot yet. I'm still waiting to get it. But you know, I'm just letting everybody know, just keep the hope for my friends who are older or people who have you know, health conditions. You know, just hang in there. We're all in this together. We'll all get the vaccine soon. And the numbers are looking good. The state of Maryland, I think for the first time since October, only had around 500 and some new cases for the whole state. So, you know, the numbers are looking good, and let's hope it stays that way. And with that said, I met with my administrative staff today, and it's time to open City Hall, and it's time to bring people back in here into the council meetings. So we are planning on, we had a kind of a hybrid work model here to kind of limit the exposure of COVID. With some employees worked home and some employees worked in the City Hall, and they mixed that up a little bit. So we're going to bring everybody back next week, and then on March 1st, we will then hopefully be open for business to the public. And what I mean by that is on March 1st, you'll be able to pay your water bills or tax bills in person, permits. You'll be able to come into City Hall. There's a council meeting on Monday, March 1st. We'll have the meeting open to the public. We will have limited seating because we'll have the seats spread out for social distancing, but we'll also have that available as well. So, and also eventually we'll start transitioning some of our commission meetings, such as Board of Appeals and Planning Committee, may begin to meet here in City Hall in the month of March. So we're going to keep it out. I mean, of course, that's if things continue to trend the way they are. If there's an uptick or any kind of signs of, you know, of danger with the COVID numbers, and we'll take it from there. But if the numbers continue to trend down, you know, it's our greatest desire to get this building of the people opened up to the people as soon as we can. So I just want to give you guys a heads up. So mark it on your calendars. If you need any business from City Hall, we're going to try to be open to the public March 1st for everybody. This evening, we witnessed the VFW and the American Legion present Officer Todd Pursoon the Police Officer of the Year Award. We really appreciate the two veteran organizations presenting that award to our police officers. Todd, of course, is a veteran himself, so it was great to see that kind of recognition, and also just it's great to see the VFW American Legion be out and about at City Hall, you know, doing things that, you know, it's kind of like almost coming back to normal a little bit. We did have Kevin King here from the VFW presented, so it's good to see the Legion, VFW, and Officer Pursoon here. But, you know, City of Havre Grace has always supported veterans in any way we can. You know, whether it's, you know, working with our veteran organizations, fixing war memorials up, Veterans Park, just, you know, helping the Marine Corps League with the Gold Star Memorial. And there's another program that was brought to the city's attention. And in fact, I actually have to give Councilmember Robertson a lot of credit for this because he brought it to our attention. And it's called the Veterans Local Government Management Fellowship. And basically, it's like I don't want to call it work release. It's like a lend-lease program where they're trying to take a soldier, a service member who's going to transition into civilian life again. And they try to find a placement for him as they do that transition. And so beginning on March 8th, City of Havre Grace will be participating in this Veterans Local Government Management Fellowship Program. And this program provides local government work experience to military service members who are transitioning from active duty to the civilian. After interviewing this gentleman, we decided to join the program. His name is Kevin. It's going to be Kevin Gabbett. and he'll be joining our team through this program. Kevin's currently a soldier, working as human resource assistant at Fort Meade, and he'll be working with my administration directly throughout the day, providing assistance as needed. This program is unique as a service member is working on active duty orders while they are here with our organization. So he's actually in the Army, but working for the city of Havre de Grace. Kevin will be in civilian clothing while he's here, so just everybody, just letting you know that. But anyway, Kevin will be with us until June, and he's scheduled to leave the Army and transition to civilian life sometime in September. I mean, it'd be a good tryout for him to see if this is a good fit for him, if there is a job opening for him. But either way, it's a good way for this gentleman to get experience. And this is a great program. It's a great program for our veterans who are transitioning from military into civilian. The city of Havre de Grace is happy to participate in this program. Again, it's another way we can help veterans, and I want to thank Councilmember Robertson for bringing this program to our attention. And Chris Ritchie, our Human Resource Director, who actually reached out and got the details on it, and we engaged in it. So again, we think it's a great program. I think that's it. I did have here on some notes about, how we monitor all the bills that are being submitted at the General Assembly in Annapolis and how some of them are unfunded mandates that could have a negative impact on us one way or the other. But I'll save all that fun for the next council meeting. We always hold our breath here in Havre de Grace from January to April. Our great representatives down in Annapolis have all kind of great ideas. Over 1,000 bills, they said, just 1,000 this time. 1,000 laws. Usually it's more than that. So we'll see which ones actually make it out of committee and get passed. But in most cases, they don't help us. They hurt us. But we'll see what happens, shortly. But anyway, the next council meeting or so, we'll talk about which ones to keep our eyes on. But not trying to sound too pessimistic, but it's almost like Hunger Games. You don't even know sometimes what bills they have going on in Annapolis until sometimes they give you you're trying desperately to read every bill that's submitted and read the fine line. Maybe on page 80 of a bill, I'm like, oh my God, it's going to cost us thousands of dollars if this passes. It's like sometimes people don't think things through. A lot of times in Annapolis. And a lot of times delegates and senators do things without talking to the municipalities, the 157 municipalities in Maryland that these affect. Whether it involves public safety, police, whether it involves taxing authority, whether it involves planning and zoning. It's just so, again, every once in a while, our General Assembly, does good legislation that helps and benefits all Marylanders and the governments. But anyway, just got to keep an eye on things. Everybody's busy down in Annapolis, I'll tell you that. So we'll maybe at the next meeting or so, we'll keep an eye on any bills that may directly affect us here in Havre de Grace, because I know my staff we've all been busy testifying on a lot of different things that are going to impact us financially. So, and you, the citizen, financially. So be careful. We'll keep an eye on it for you. With that said, those are my comments. I conclude them for this evening. Thank you very much, everyone. It'll be good to have hopefully, some members of the public back here at the next council meeting. And I'll turn it over to Councilmember Martin.
Good evening, Mayor, Council President, citizens. My comments will be very brief tonight. The Opera House is holding a Mardi Gras festival, but it's online. And one of the things they talked about, and you're going to hear from, I'm sure, Councilmember Robinson and Councilmember Boyer about it, but there are 2 items that you can order online as well as participate in the auctions they have. And one is the Louisiana cuisine crab cake, and the other is the Louisiana cuisine pork chop. So they have dinner reservations for you for the Mardi Gras Festival. All you have to do is go online. You can place your order. You can also, if you decide you want to participate in the online auctions or raffles there, that you can do that. So again, that's my comments for tonight. I just want to give a shout out for the Mardi Gras Festival, and thank everyone tonight.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Martin. Councilmember Ringsacker.
Mr. Mayor, Council, first off, I want to thank Shane Grimm, the Director of Planning, for all his hard work. I talk about him all the time because we work so closely together. I want to thank him for responding to all those emails. I was traveling this weekend, and I probably got 45 to 50 emails myself. I did get to respond to some of them, but there's still a plethora that I need to respond to, and I will send a personalized response for each one. I do want to speak tonight about a current bill that's before our General Assembly. The mayor said it very eloquently and very much more kindly than I feel about this bill. Our delegates don't always reach out to us, and currently there's a bill, it's House Bill 911, which will have a hearing on the 19th, January 19th at 1:30 down in Annapolis before the House Environment and Transportation Committee. This is entitled the Flats Bodybooting Bill. Now, bodybooting is something that's unique for duck and waterfowl hunters in this area. They go out on the flats and they wear a wetsuit or waders if it's warm enough. You don't want to wear waders when it's really cold and the water starts getting deep because you can die. But they stand behind a silhouette cut out of either a goose or sometimes a swan, and they get down low in the water and it brings the ducks in real close. And it's something that's unique to the flats because you can stand out in the water. It used to be that people would get in these little, it's almost like a boat, it's called a sink box, but those were outlawed in 1918, so you can't really hunt that way anymore. So the bodybooting became a prominent style of hunting for this area. And there are a lot of people who hold that heritage very, very close, like I do. I strongly support the heritage of hunting in this area and bodybooting and that type of hunting. But the intent of this bill, as written, it only allows for natural bottom standing while you're hunting. It doesn't allow people to hunt from an anchored boat, from a boat that's drifting, or a boat that's being sculled with an oar in the back. And I think it's misguided in that right now everybody can look around and you see all the loss of land and public land and farms, and this land is being lost to our hunting and our heritage. That is something that a lot of people grew up with. It's the sort of thing that I want to pass on to my children, that my father passed on to me, that his father passed on to him. And we're taking away access to this public land, this public waterway, only for the use of a very, very, very small subset of hunters. There's not a lot of hunters that body boot. In this area, there are. And I'm taking this stance at great cost of my own personal reputation with many of these people that I hunt with that are very much in support with this bill. But I think that it really hurts the hunting community and the access and the ability of waterfowlers to get out there and hunt as it's currently written. Additionally, it also hurts the tourism in the city. Havre de Grace is a place where people come to hunt because of the flats. Teddy Roosevelt hunted here. And I think just by going by this bill to only allow bodybooting out there really does hurt the hunting community. I would advocate possibly allowing a closed season, maybe a 2-week period, because they typically break duck hunting into 3 specific periods during the year. But if we took like a 2-week period of those three like 1 month long splits, what they're called, and allowed maybe just allow bodybooting during that first 2 weeks of the December split. That might be something that's a little more advantageous. It allows those bodybooters to get out there and still practice their heritage without all the other boats and people coming around, because it can get rather crowded out there. But I think the intent of the bill as written really hurts the community, and I cannot support it. And I do ask people to write Delegate Lasani and ask her to withdraw the bill, testify on Friday the 19th down in Annapolis at the House Environment and Transportation Committee. And, as the mayor said, pay attention to what happens in Annapolis. Pay attention to the bills that are going out there. I think that this is very misguided as written. but there are ways we can improve on it. So I thank you for your time, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you for your comments, Councilmember Ringsager. Do you know when they're having a public hearing on that bill?
I don't know when the public hearing is. I know that they're having the hearing before the House Environment and Transportation Committee on Friday, the 19th, at 1:30.
Cool.
Is there a
Excellent.
Senate version?
I don't believe there is a sister version, no, yet. Sir?
If anybody wants to testify on that bill, they have to submit in advance and in writing. So you need to look at the guidelines. The hearing is on the 19th, but there is a cutoff date for testimony prior to that, and the testimony has to be in writing.
Yes. If you go on online, you can just do as I did. I typed in, HB 911 Maryland, and it brought up all the information for that, and it also gives the guidelines on how to submit comments on that. So I thank you for your time.
Chief of Staff?
Just to add to that, if you just go to the General Assembly website, and up in the upper right-hand corner, it says My MGA. If you click on that, then it takes you through the to the bill, and then you can click on it whether you want to testify verbally or you want to have written testimony, and you simply click the boxes, and then you can do it that way. It's rather easy. It was a little, I think, cumbersome when they first started in the Zoom mode, but this makes it pretty easy. We've done it a number of times here to testify. The mayor has, and a number of staff.
Outstanding, thank you.
Thank you,
Save on
Chief.
parking.
Yep. Councilmember Boyer, good evening.
Good evening, Mayor. Just a couple of things. I want to thank PFC Pershawn for absolutely amazing dedication to his profession, dedication to his fellow officers, and always looking out and figuring out how he can make a change and make a difference. And it's fabulous to know that he is one of the many incredible officers that we have serving here in Havre de Grace. Last thing I want to say is I want to encourage everyone to please check in on your elderly neighbors, not only because of the snow and ice, to make sure that they can get out and navigate the icy walkways, etc., but also finding out if they need help scheduling a vaccine. Many of them have reached out to their doctors, but a lot of our seniors don't have the savviness to be able to figure out, just like the mayor had said, how to navigate the system. And a couple of them have given up, people who I talked to. So if we could please reach out to them and help them get to the vaccine if they choose to have it. And that's it. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Boyer. Good evening, Councilmember Zinner.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, council, citizens at home. I just have a couple things. I'm so happy that the Independence Commission put forward all of their event plans this evening. And I know last year when we were canceling things pretty much at the last minute due to COVID, because we so hoped that we would be able to continue with the plans that we have. And I said at that time that I know everyone was disappointed, but this year, hopefully, it will be a richer experience for everyone having to do without last year. So I hope that all that comes true. I also want to thank Mr. Grimm for bringing the ordinance to our attention for the setbacks and the restrictions on front-loaded garages on specific streets within the historic district, and also the HPC members who wrote in their comments and have taken a very active interest in this ordinance, as well as other provisions that planning is working on to ensure the integrity of the historic district. And again, I want to congratulate Officer Pershin on his well-deserved Officer of the Year award. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Zinner. Good evening, Councilmember Robertson.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, fellow council members, city staff, ladies and gentlemen at home. Just a couple things. I do want to also mention that the Havre Grace Arts Collective will be doing the Masquerade Ball this year completely virtually. As a side note, it's one of the events that my wife has always looked forward to every year since we've moved to town. And, she was very bummed out that they wouldn't be doing it live this year. But if you go to hdgartscollective.org, that's hdgartscollective.org, you can go ahead and purchase your meals in advance, or you can just purchase the streaming by itself. If you purchase a meal, you'll receive the link for the live stream for the event. Meals, the cutoff date for ordering meals is the 20th, February 20th, so it's just a couple days from now. Make sure that you go ahead online at hdgartscollective.org to order your meals. They will be picked up at the American Legion Post 47 at 501 St. John Street, Saturday, February 27th, which is the day of the event. As has been noted, you have your choice in crab cake or Creole-style pork chop, all prepared by the Sons of the American Legion's Chef Mac. So if you are familiar with Chef Mac here in Havre de Grace, excellent food, gourmet food. You're really getting a good deal for $35 a person for a show and for dinner. And as Councilmember Martin had mentioned, there are raffles going on as well. You can purchase raffle tickets now. I believe that there's some silent auction items as well. So they're taking bids for those things now. They will continue on during the live stream. And, as an added bonus, aside from being a fundraising event for the Havre de Grace Arts Collective, which, if you may or may not know, is the driving force behind the Opera House and all of the cultural and arts events at the Opera House. The half of the proceeds from the food sales will also be going to support the American Legion. So if you want to support your American Legion and you want to support your community arts, please go to hdgartscollective.org and check out the event, order your tickets for the meal, order some raffle tickets, and be good to go. I also want to mention that the Economic Development Advisory Board will be meeting tomorrow at 4 p.m. It will be a virtual meeting, so you can feel free to stream it via YouTube. And then on the last note, we are living in some interesting times. I never thought that, I would live through all of the historic events at once, but here we are. And, I think just through these times, let's remember we're all friends and neighbors, and let's just be kind to each other. Sometimes that's easier said than done, but maybe if we all just do that, we'll get out of this thing together. That's it, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Robertson. Okay, good evening, Council President Glenn.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's my distinct honor and privilege tonight to publicly congratulate our newest Police Officer of the Year, PFC Todd Pershune. I want to thank the American Legion and the VFW for taking time out to award this outstanding and well-deserved recognition. And Jason, I got to say that thanks for sharing that impressive resume. I think it was important for everybody to hear that, and it just goes to show you that PFC Pershune's tireless dedication and selfless service truly recognizes him as a true unsung hero. And we're so fortunate to have officers like Pershune to be in our neighborhood, to be in our community. When you think about it, just remember that when those officers are called upon, whether they're on duty or not, they respond. And they respond because they make us a priority. So, Todd, thank you so much for your service. We're really glad you got recognized tonight, and again, it was well-deserved. As a proud graduate of Havre High School, I tried not to miss opportunities to recognize those special warrior proud moments. Unfortunately, due to COVID, due to virtual learning, and due to not having fall and winter sports, those opportunities have been few and far between. But during the last 2 weeks, I did hear some outstanding news. First off, Gavin Lloyd, one of our outstanding wrestlers, he compiled a record of 105 wins and 15 losses in his high school career. And he just recently committed to Roanoke College. And Roanoke's starting out a brand new wrestling program. He's going to be on the ground floor, and he's going to be a great addition to Roanoke. In addition, Mikey Swigert, his dad, Earl, works for the city of Havre de Grace. He's been a two-sport standout at Havre de Grace, and he just recently committed to attend Belmont Abbey College to play Division II lacrosse. So I wish them two nothing but the best moving forward. And Mr. Mayor, that's all I have.
Thank you very much for your comments tonight, Council President. Okay, we're going to move on to item number 18, which is comments from citizens. This part of the agenda is when citizens can comment on anything that is other city business that is not on the agenda. We have been receiving, we are able to receive phone calls, emails, or letters, and so I'll check with the Chief of Staff. Has anybody submitted any comments to be read to the record?
Yes, we do, Mr. Mayor. We have one.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This is from Mr. Kirk D. Smith Sr., 120 South Washington Street, Apartment R, here in the city. And this is in response to Mr. Seipold from reading Mr. Smith's comments at a previous meeting. Mr. Seipold, thank you for relaying the Imbolg blessing and message from me to all of our citizens, residents, elected city officials, and staff at the last council meeting. The Imbolg Sabbath of my faith is celebrated by Wiccans and other practitioners of neo-pagan and pagan-influenced religions here in Havre de Grace and worldwide. I hope you all had a blessed Valentine's Day, and wish that you all have a festive Lupercalia. Lupercalia was a pastoral festival in ancient days observed on February 15th to help purify the city, promote health and fertility. Lupercalia was also known as Die Februtus, after the purification ritual called Februa, the basis of the month named Februus, or today's month of February. With all due respect, Mr. Kirk D. Smith, Sr.
Thank you very much, Chief of Staff, for reading that into the record. All right, any other comments, sir? Is that it? Yes, sir. Okay, thank you. With that said, we'll go to item number 19. Council, do I have a motion to adjourn?
To move.
Council President, seconded by Councilmember Martin. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. The February 16th council meeting is adjourned at 9:01 p.m. Thank you very much, council, for a good council meeting, and we look forward to having a live audience next time on March the 1st. We'll see you March 1st, everybody.